Good evening, Niner fans. How we feeling? Sorry, I was a little late. I was gonna come on about 20 minutes ago, but had something to do. Had to check out some stuff. Donna needed some help, so had to help her out with some schoolwork stuff. It's the weekend, but we still working. Don't matter. How are we feeling though, 49er fans? The 49ers play football on Sunday, a day after today, against the Cincinnati Bengals, and they hope to break their little losing streak they have. They've lost 2 games in a row. We hate to see that. You don't want to lose games. But the 49ers, hopefully they don't lose a game tomorrow. This is a big game against the Bengals. The Bengals are coming off the bye week. As we know, we've talked about it all week. But there's some good news for the 49ers. Today, Brock Purdy, QB1, was cleared from the concussion protocol. He will start against the Bengals. Huge news because the 49ers won't have to play Sam Darnold. We don't know what we were going to get out of Sam Darnold. But at the same time, let's hope and pray that Brock Purdy is ready to rock and roll. He has no symptoms or any lingering effects from a concussion. Concussions are scary. But Brock Purdy, QB1, is ready to go for the 49ers tomorrow. Big news, that is huge. We've been kind of monitoring this all week. And today he got cleared. This is great for him. Hopefully he's ready to help this team bounce back. The 49ers need a bounce back win in a massive way. You know what? Steven says here to remind anyone if there's any anxiety on Purdy's concussion. He says Mahomes had a concussion in 2021 in the playoffs against the Browns, but he got cleared to play against the Bills in the AFC title game. So that makes me feel a little bit better. Mahomes came back on a short notice against the Bills the next week. But, everybody's concussion is different. Symptoms are different for everybody. At the same time, 49ers have great medical staff, and I'm sure they did their due diligence, and they made sure that Purdy passed every single phase of the protocol. So, yeah, Brock Purdy will be playing against the Cincinnati Bengals tomorrow. I'm hyped up. I don't know if you guys are, but I'm ready for this game. Bye week next week, so we're not going to have football, 49ers football, for a couple of weeks after tomorrow. So this is, the best thing that we can see in a couple of weeks. I hate when the 49ers don't play. It makes the weekend a little bit less entertaining. So we got to enjoy this one, and hopefully the 49ers can give us a dub, and we get some good content for the rest of the week. Because when the 49ers win, there's great content following a dub. No, when the 49ers lose, content's not as great. So I want to see good content, especially being a content creator. I want to put out some good content for you guys on social media, and I just want to see the 49ers win because I'm tired of them losing. Timeline has been very bleak. The timeline has been very negative lately, so I'm hoping the 49ers get this dub against the Cincinnati Bengals. It's not going to be easy. We talked about it last night, right? We talked about how the Bengals, coming off the bye week, Joe Burrow's getting better and healthy. He started the season with the calf injury, and Jamar Chase, he's a dog, and it's going to be a tough battle for the 49ers and their defense. And again, the defense earlier these last 2 weeks have not really been what we've expected. We've talked a lot about Steve Wilkes and how this team has kind of underachieved with all the stars they've had on this team. Fred Warner's being a dog. He's Fred Warner. But the rest of this defense just hasn't played at the level we all expect them. Speaking of Fred Warner, though, shout out to Fred and his wife, Sydney Warner. They're expecting a baby. They posted on their social media, on their Instagram, that they're having a baby. And that's great news for them. We're going to have a all-pro Fred Warner baby down the line. That's pretty dope, man. So congrats to Fred, man, and Sydney. That's cool news. I saw that earlier. Pretty cool news. So I'm sure Fred's got extra motivation now to go out there and dominate even more. Now he's got more motivation. You don't want to give a guy like Fred Warner any more motivation, and now he has more. So he's been tearing it up this season, and now I think he's going to play even better. So love to see it. Great news for Fred Warner and his family. So good stuff. But I want to see everybody else play at the level of Fred Warner. I know we've talked a lot about Nick Bosa, and he hasn't really lived up to his contract yet. Steve Wilkes got to figure something out. He said a lot this week. I hope it's not just lip service, and they can figure out the defensive scheme because they're not getting sacks. You got to get pressure on Joe Burrow. You got to get to the quarterback. You got to sack him and put some pressure on Joe Burrow. Whoever you play, honestly, whatever quarterback that you play, you need to get pressure. 49ers have not been able to take that pressure and get sacks lately, and that's been a big issue for them. They, need to dial up more sacks. They got to make some big time, game changing plays, and that just hasn't happened. When the quarterback's stressed out and under duress and he gets sacked, they're a little bit more tentative and they're a little bit more prone to mistakes. So the 49ers have to get home. They have to put some pressure on Joey B and make his life a living hell tomorrow. So speaking of pass rushers, we're going to talk about something that John Lynch is reportedly in on. We talked about this, through the week. We had a report earlier today. The 49ers are on the phone. John Lynch is on the phone with different teams. He's trying to find someone to trade. Tuesday's the trade deadline. They were looking for an edge rusher and a cornerback. We're going to talk about that in just a second. I want to take a look at the comments. I want to say thank you for everybody hopping in today. I know it's a little late notice, Saturday. I'm sure everybody's busy right now, but I wanted to hop in and just say what's up and talk about tomorrow's game. Brock Purdy going to be cleared for, the game. He cleared the concussion protocol. And the 49ers are looking to make a trade. That is huge news for the 49ers, right? We've been kind of hearing different rumors, but according to Deanna Rossini, 49ers are looking to make a trade. They're on the phones. John Lynch is ready to cook, and I'm excited about it. So hopefully everybody's doing good. We're going to be talking about this. Myth Vibe says, John is waking up from his nap. I don't think he's been sleeping at all, man. John Lynch has been cooking this season, this offseason. So I think he's been doing well. Myth says, off topic, but can I just say the main NFL media pages are saying anything about Purdy's concussion and having people think he just played terribly for no reason is annoying. There's been a lot of conspiracy theories. There's been a lot of people saying this and that. The media kind of switched up over the last couple of weeks. Brock Purdy hasn't played well over what we've expected to see from him compared to where he started. And yeah, the narrative's kind of flipped and nobody's saying, oh, he had a concussion and maybe that's why he played bad. Again, at the end of the day, I think none of that matters now. Brock has a chance to redeem himself. If he goes out there and plays like a phenomenal game against the Bengals, people can sit there and stick their thumbs up there. You know what? Because guess what? Coming off a concussion, if he goes out there and balls, nobody can dog this guy. Nobody can sit there and doubt him. And I got to talk about Brock Purdy and the fact that he's a dog, man. He's tough. He's tough as nails. You got to realize he's had some injuries. He played through a rib injury or oblique injury last year. Played through it. They won. He had the UCL tear, which was unfortunate, but he came back pretty quick. And now a concussion on Monday night. He's going to play on Sunday. That's a quick turnaround, 6 days. Boy's got that dog in him. Absolutely tough as nails, man. People got to respect Brock Purdy just for him being as tough as he is. I don't think people talk about that enough. So, John waking up. A myth says usually they post when a starting quarterback gets a concussion, but not for him. Yeah, no, absolutely, myth. It's weird that they didn't even post anything. The media page, the NFL page. A lot of these teams are like, whatever. To me, it was huge news. I thought that was one of the biggest news of the week, right? Brock Purdy has a concussion. The 49ers might be starting Sam Darnold. Thankfully, he clears it, and now he's going to start. Not too many big media markets talked about this, but you know what they will talk about? If Brock plays bad tomorrow, oh, they'll for sure talk about it. They'll gas it up. Well, see, Brock, 3 straight games that are bad. If he plays good tomorrow, though, he's going to quiet every single doubter out there, at least for a week or two. But, the NFL is praying, not the NFL, but a lot of the media are praying for Brock Purdy's downfall. It is unfortunate to see. My man 49ers Throwback says prayers for Brock. Prayers up to Brock Purdy, man. Glad that he cleared it, and hopefully nothing bad happens to him tomorrow against the Bengals. Now, speaking of that Bengals game, there is another injury that we still don't know 100% if that player is going to play, and that's Trent Williams. He's dealing with an ankle injury, and he's questionable. I swear I hope that we get a little Trent Williams notification tonight that he's going to be playing, but I'm not too sure yet. We'll see. Maybe they'll announce it tomorrow like they did, with Dre Greenlaw last week. Maybe they'll announce it on game day. Could be a game time decision. We'll see how that goes. But I really hope that the 49ers have Trent Williams to protect for Brock Purdy. But if not, we're going to have to go out there with Jalen Moore and Colton McKivitz. I know Colton McKivitz hasn't been pulling weight. I won't say that Jalen Moore was horrible last week. He wasn't Trent Williams, though, and that is needed against any team. You need to be able to run the ball. 49ers really weren't able to run the ball effectively or the way they wanted to last week And, that's the key to their game. If you're missing players, which the 49ers will be with Deebo Samuel, you got to be able to run the ball. And you got to help, Christian McCaffrey. This man's been running his head off, but they got to get Trent Williams back because last year the space was very minimal to run through, a lot of gaps to run through. And, having Trent Williams is a huge difference for the 49ers and for protecting Brock Purdy. I don't want to see him get blindsided because there's a bad block by one of these offensive linemen. So I hope Trent Williams is able to play. If he's not, I'm going to pray for Brock that he doesn't get knocked around by this, defense of the Bengals. They got some good players on that, on the edge. So hopefully Brock's able to get that ball out quick. Hopefully he's able to make good decisions and beat the blitz. Against the Giants a couple of weeks ago, they were blitzing 84%. And he was able to get that ball, just throw some darts, quick passes. That's what he's going to have to need to do moving forward if Jalen Moore and Colton McKivitz are continuing to start games for him. So brings me to my next topic. The 49ers, obviously, we just talked about that they have a big game against the Bengals. Hopefully they win. There's a big, big date looming on Tuesday. Tuesday is the NFL trade deadline, and that is something we have to talk about because the 49ers have been rumored now to be in the mix for an edge rusher and a cornerback. There's been a lot of rumors over the last couple of weeks that the 49ers might be making some moves during the trade deadline. I know they went and got Randy Gregory a couple of weeks ago. There was a report that they called about Surtain when they called about Gregory, and maybe they circle back. Maybe they do their due diligence. Who knows? There's been different reports that the Broncos would trade Surtain, that they won't trade Surtain. There's reports that the Commanders, they'll determine if they're going to be fire selling after tomorrow. They got a game against the Eagles. If they don't win, they might pull the plug and just trade players left and right to rebuild. So it's going to get interesting. It's going to get interesting because Chase Young, Montez Sweat, those are guys on the Commanders that are very good, but they might be on the move. I'm hoping it's one of those guys. I would love to see Chase Young and Nick Bosa reunite. Ohio State guys, I would love to see Montez Sweat on the 49ers. This guy's a dog, man. This guy is a monster. I remember when he was coming out of the draft, he was one of my draft crushes. The guy was flying off the edge. He's a great player to have on this team. So either one of those guys would help Nick Bosa and this D-line, who are not getting sacks, which we just mentioned, I think would be beneficial. And a cornerback, and there's other options at cornerback. There's Jalen Johnson, obviously the big name. The big name is Patrick Surtain. But what would the 49ers have to give up? Multiple first-round picks, maybe some players, and then you got to think about paying these guys later down the line. So we'll see. Will they get a big name? Will they go after a splashy name? Or is it going to be a mid-tier player? We're going to find out on Tuesday, right? A mid-tier player is what I think. I don't know if they're going to go for a splash. And also, we didn't even talk about it, but Brian Burns is a guy that could be on the move. The Carolina Panthers haven't won a game. They're kind of, on a rebuild mood. Obviously, they, got a first-round quarterback that they're still trying to figure out and build this team through. They're going to be a ways from being a contending team. They, a couple of years, they still got a lot of big pieces to figure out. So the Carolina Panthers, they might fire some of their big-time players for draft picks. So watch out. Who knows? You can sit here and speculate all you want, right? Brian Burns, Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Jalen Johnson, Patrick Surtain. Those are just a few of the names that are out there. I mean, I'd be happy with any single one of those guys. But specifically, the report says that the 49ers are on the move, on the market. They're on the phones for an edge and cornerback. I don't know. Who do you guys want? God, can you imagine what they can get? Can you imagine if they just go crazy and they just go all in, just balls to the wall and go Patrick Surtain? That's the Super Bowl move right there. You got to keep up with some of these teams. It's an arms race. The Eagles went and got an all-pro safety the other day. I think the 49ers should go and get, a potential all-pro, franchise lockdown cornerback. If they wouldn't got Patrick Surtain, this guy's your lockdown cornerback for 5 years, at the very least. This a huge move I feel like the 49ers could make. But again, you'd have to give up a lot to get him. But you have to really determine, is that enough to win a Super Bowl? And if it is, go out and do it. Because if they go all in and they put all their chips in on all these big-time guys and they don't win a Super Bowl, it's going to be nitty-gritty after that. Because after 2 years, Trent Williams is probably not going to be there. George Kittle's not going to be there, and you got to make sure that you have draft picks that you're going to be able to restock players and money to sign players, and I know they have a lot of money right now, but that can change really fast if you spend all that money. So we shall see, man. I'm excited for this week. I'm excited for tomorrow, and I am so excited to see what happens on the trade deadline. I'm really excited to see what the heck the 49ers are going to do at the trade deadline. Let me know what you guys think. Who do you want? Leave it in the comments of this chat. Leave it in the comments of the video if it's re-uploaded and you're watching it later. Who do you think the 49ers should get? I don't know. I'm hyped with any one of those guys. But, there's quite a bit of players out there that I didn't even mention. But, 49ers and John Lynch have really cooked over the last couple of years, especially during the trade, deadline. I mean, you got nobody saw CMC coming last year. When that move happened, I mean, everybody was absolutely shook. We were we were just like hyped out of our minds. And the fact that they went out and they went and got CMC told everybody that they are for real. For real. Now, I'm just reading some updates. I see, hold up, as we are talking about edge rushers, potential edge rushers, here's a rumor right now. So there's rumors in league circles linking the Bears to Commanders pass rusher Chase Young, according to Pro Football Talk. Chicago has a need for a pass rusher. So, again, according to league circles, via Pro Football Talk, there's rumors saying that the Bears are linked to a trade for Chase Young. Um, we'll see what happens. Again, this is a guy that's out there on the market that might be on the move. Depending on what happens tomorrow against the Eagles, they might want to pull the trigger. It was reported earlier today by Deanna Rossini that the Commanders' asking price for Young is a second-round pick. So in order to get Chase Young, a team would have to give up a second-round pick. Now, the 49ers, if they want Chase Young and they don't want the Bears to go get Chase Young, go give them that second-round pick. That's what it's going to take to go get a guy like Chase Young. What do you guys think? Chase Young to the Niners for a second-round pick? Woo-wee! Can you imagine Nick Bosa, Chase Young, two former Buckeyes on the same line? Maybe that's what Nick Bosa needs. Maybe he needs a little bit of Chase Young to get his little kickstart going. I would be absolutely hyped up to see these two former Buckeyes on the same defensive line. Holy smokes. Take it. Second round pick is nothing. That's pretty much what the 49ers gave up to get Christian McCaffrey last year. If you really think about it, a couple, late round picks, which they all got back from the compensatory picks. They give up a second round pick. That's what it would take to go get Chase Young, a second round pick. Bring him in. Bring him in, ladies and gentlemen. Montez Sweat, you're probably going to need to take a second and maybe a third. I think that's worth it too. Might as well make it happen. Go all in. Get a Super Bowl. Help this defense out. I don't know. I would do it. Jacob says, I hope we get Montez Sweat. I would too. I mean, Montez Sweat's a monster. That guy's an absolute dog. Oh, he'd make this defensive line even better. Because then you can use Gregory a little bit more and rotate him and not have to give him every, big snap. He's good. Gregory's good. He's up there. He's 30 years old. He's a veteran. You don't want to overwork him. Then you can put in Montez Sweat, Nick Bosa. You got a little bit more, rotationary depth out there at the edge. And then you got Drake Jackson, who, let's be honest with ourselves. He hasn't really lived up to his hype yet, his draft position. He's good. He's got some talent, but he just hasn't kind of figured it all out. He doesn't have enough strength as sometimes I feel like he gets pushed around, but he can continue to develop. He won't have to play as many snaps, and he can still develop in there. So your defensive line depth is a lot better. You got Clellan Ferrell, and then he can be a rotationary guy. He doesn't have to be like the guy on the other side, which I don't think he can handle. And then you have Austin Bryant you could call up eventually. I think your defensive line, the depth would be so much better with the guy like Montez Sweat or even Chase Young. So I'm excited. Hopefully we land somebody. I hope we're not sitting here crying on Tuesday night with a loss and no trade. If there's a loss and no trade, honestly, I'm gonna have to call John Lynch myself and curse him out. Like if there's no trade Tuesday night, I'm gonna be like, listen, John, you lost to the Bengals and you didn't make a trade. What do we do? What are we doing, John? Can we trade you? Can we trade you? I will be so mad that the 49ers go through this week, lose to the Bengals, and don't make a trade on Tuesday. I will be so mad. Not gonna lie to you. Let's hope they make it an emphasis to win tomorrow. Be focused, be locked in. Let's hope Steve Wilkes figures it out. And let's hope Brock Purdy and the Niners offense bounces back and they keep Brock Purdy clean. I don't want to see Purdy be dirty tomorrow, knocked around. I want to see him have a clean jersey. I want to see him dominate. And I want to see the 49ers win against the Bengals. And I want to see a big, big trade on Tuesday. John better not be sleeping in a coma, my man. Myth Vibes, if he's sleeping in a coma, oh man, it's going to be ugly on the timeline. But I think John Lynch is ready to cook. I can't wait to see what he's cooking. I want to see the ingredients that he's got in that big casserole pie he's ready to cook. But you guys have a good rest of your night. Just wanted to hop in, talk to y'all. Brock Purdy is cleared for tomorrow, and the 49ers are looking to make a trade on Tuesday for an edge and a cornerback. I'm excited. This is a great time to be a 49er fan. Hopefully they win, and hopefully they make a monster splash. The bye week will be absolutely phenomenal if they do those two things. Oh my God, we will be so hyped for them to come back off the bye and play the Jaguars. You have a good rest of your night. Take care. Let's go Niners.